Yes, it was the biggest fight of the year, but then it went straight down the toilet, didn't it? Ruddy hell, yeah, it all got a bit clomophenny, a little bit eggy and all that. But after a turbulent year of trial and tribulations, both men facing adversity and severe damage to their careers, it's now been resurrected. And after this, yes, it's bigger than ever. So let's take a plunge into the deep dark crack of this monstrous event, underline all the gory details, and find out all we need to know about Eubank Jr versus Benn. Take 2. Strap on and strap in. Yes, well, it's back with a big bang, ain't it? After a sublime performance by Eubank Jr against Smith, the rumblings of this mega fight are louder than ever. To put it bluntly, the performance was superb. Smith was manhandled for 10 rounds, and for the first time, Chris Eubank Jr is being considered amongst the elites. Now, alright then, it was a below par performance from Smith, and that's undeniable. But if it's true that he had 42 pounds of weight to lose, then he only has himself to blame.
I mean, from the weight from the back injury last time to when I got over the back injury, I cut 42 pounds. I feel it just took a toll on my body.
Yeah, I mean, 42 pounds, bloody hell, that's 3 stone. You're meant to be an athlete, man. I know you've got new teeth, Liam, but you didn't need to wear them in by eating everything in the fucking fridge, did you? So yes, if that was the case, then it's just hard to find the sympathy in my eyes, to be honest. But regardless, nothing can be taken away from young Junior. And if Liam's given a pass on his terrible performance because of troubles in camp, then maybe Junior should get a pass in the first fight for the turbulent year he had as well, dealing with the passing of his great brother, the well-documented troubles of his great father, and of course that severe weight cut. And since he was written off by nearly everyone in the rematch, including myself, and with his career pretty much on the line, to perform how he did with that heavy load on him deserves nothing but credit. So yes, it looks as though he's been rejuvenated. His head is finally screwed on. He's got himself a nutritionist, he's got himself in strong shape mentally, and of course, he's found a great cornerman in old Bomac. Chris is now in a great place, which is more than I can say for fucking Bomac. Bloody hell, he's banged up in custody. I know you lot love to carry a cheeky pistol around with you over in the land of opportunity, but it don't really wash round these parts, bruv. I mean, what made him bring that along? You got your toothbrush and your passport, babe? Yeah, I got it sorted, don't you worry. You're not taking your gun, are you? So fucking right I am, I'm going Manchester. Did you not see Ross Kemp on Gangs the other day? Anyway, hopefully it all gets resolved, because let's not forget, it may play a factor on his return to England for the Benn fight. But we'll come back to that. So yes, with Junior's draw power at an all-time high, he may be floating the idea of a world title challenge and unfinished business with Golovkin, because we all remember he lost his fucking pen last time. But in hindsight, Golovkin was a killer back then, and Chris would have got absolutely flattened. But yes, he may also be tickling the intrigue of a domestic Kell Brook clash. Oh, baby. But let's be totally honest, Junior is in the game for the dollar, and with the Conor Benn scandal somehow fizzling out, with his return apparently imminent, and of course the Conor Benn profile also at an all-time high, albeit for the wrong reasons, there's no better time to roll the dice. But yes, the question does have to be asked, what is going on with the Conor Benn scandal? Well, as it stands, in Conor's corner, his Ukad suspension has been lifted by the National Anti-Doping Panel, and he's been cleared by the WBC. I mean, bollocks to the WBC, they're about as credible as Big Baby Miller saying he's clearing Conor, do you know what I mean? But the NADP do actually have some sway. However, Ukad and the British Boxing Board of Control have appealed this decision, and that's ultimately where we are. We unfortunately do not know anything more than that at the minute, and let's be honest, we don't actually know why he was cleared in the first place. I mean, was it the latest findings that come to light on TalkSport, the slow breakdown of clomiphene contaminated European eggs, or was it the legal technicality that Ukad had no jurisdiction to suspend him since he gave up his British licence, and VADA is a separate entity that cannot administer punishments? As it stands, fuck knows. But yes, it is all a bit confusing since he went on Piers Morgan and alluded to contamination in the lab. Then the WBC cleared him for basically eating too many eggs. Then he said it weren't eggs, but accepted the clearance. Then his scientist said it actually was eggs, and his body breaks them down different to other people. And now he's basically saying he can't be banned because Ukad have no jurisdiction. Yeah, so it's all a bit skew-whiff, innit? I just don't know anymore. My head's fucking scrambled. No, sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Anyway, the appeal by Ukad and the board is still ongoing, and of course this could certainly affect the Eubank fight going ahead in the UK, which is where it needs to be due to the fans and the nostalgia. But then again, if the British board really ain't on board with it, who knows, maybe they'll potentially use a foreign board like Zora all them years ago, I don't know. They just will find a way to make it happen though, won't they? Cause by now, we all know boxing, don't we? We know the powers that be can find a way around any complex situation, whether right or wrong, so you just know they'll get it over the line. And anyway, I'm throwing it out there, there's no way Conor's gonna be banned. It just ain't gonna happen, bruv, is it? They've got the best lawyers in the business on it, going down every single route. At worst case, they could probably agree on a backdated ban, but even that I can't see happening. He'll worm out of it somehow. And let's not forget, regardless of Ukad, regardless of the board or anyone's opinion, Eddie's steaming straight ahead with it no matter what comes his way. He's had enough of it all, since everyone else seems to be pulling fast ones as well.
Is there VADA testing for Eubank Smith? I'll give you the answer. No. I've just now got to the point where I look at all these people criticising, all taking a piss, not even putting a hand in their pocket to test. And I just think to myself, we might as well just move forward now and fuck what people think, because no one's looking at it with a clear head anyway. But all these other people that are telling me what's right and what's wrong, oh, another matchroom. How can you criticise a matchroom show when we're the only ones testing?
Yes, there we are, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what's he fucking wearing? He looks like he's had a spend up on a market stall in fucking Benidorm. Or he might have borrowed it off of Conor. No, cheap shot, sorry, I'm only joking. Anyway, as much as Eddie played a bit of a bad role himself in the Conor Benn scandal last year, in a way, you can kinda see it from his point of view. The fact that there was no VADA testing in the Smith-Eubank 2 fight is absolutely ruddy terrible. Matchroom do at the end of the day test more than any other promoters. As you can tell with all the madness of the past couple months, bloody hell, carry on like this, they'll have no bloody roster left. Catchroom, bosh. But yes, with Conor, of course it's not right. It shines a bad light on the sport, but you know, it is what it is. And let's be honest, we're all double creamy for the Eubank Benn fight anyway, so in a nutshell, fuck it. Alright then, yes, back to the fight. Well, what could play out then? Well, obviously, Conor Benn's inactivity has not been ideal, and it's fair to say the mental impact of the past year may have damaged him as a fighter forever. But remember, it may have also made his hunger for the sport more fierce than ever. He knows no matter what, he's now the villain. It could bring out a darker, more dangerous fighter in him. Only time will tell. For Eubank though, he really is on another level to the Eubank we knew before. He's more controlled, he's boxing more intelligently. A far cry from the lunatic who was just swinging for the hills in the Groves fight, looking like a nutjob in the pub car park who's had a blast on a double powerful bit of Colombian wallop. No, Eubank's looking more rounded now, and coming up against an inactive Benn who's had a year of hell, the bookies will more than likely be firmly favouring Junior. And rightly so. Let's not forget also, whereas the weight cut for Eubank last time out clearly put him at a disadvantage, this time round he holds the cards. And you bet your bumhole there will be no chance of any talks under 160. Chris will be walking into that ring comfortable on this occasion. But you know, can the same be said for young Benn? How comfortable will he be at the weight, since his last fight was at 146.5 pounds? Because when you're deadly at a certain weight, adding that extra stone on doesn't necessarily make you the same force in a heavier division. We see it with Brook against Golovkin and Canelo against Bivol. Neither fighter could make that same dent in the naturally heavier fighter. I mean, don't get me wrong, Prime Golovkin and Bivol are better than Eubank, of fucking course, but you get me point, I hope. Or maybe you don't, maybe I'm just talking bollocks again, it's very possible, yes. But regardless, outside of who wins, one thing for certain is that this fight really is bigger than ever. Whereas the first attempt sold out the O2 in minutes, the plans are now to go larger. Eddie has mentioned the possibility of Millennium Stadium. He's even floated the idea of Wembley Stadium. Now some may think Wembley is a bit of a stretch, but remember, if the double legends Froch and Groves can sell out Wembley after the controversies in their first fight, who's to say Eubank Benn cannot sell out Wembley with their controversy as well? Of course they didn't actually end up getting in the ring, but the sheer magnitude of the fallout and all the media attention has felt to be twice as loud as Froch Groves, and the intrigue is there more than ever. Not to mention the second that Eubank Benn sit down in the press conference and Junior throws in a couple of smug comments that bring Conor to boiled egg. Bring Conor to boiling point. Yes, once that presser kicks off in the way that we know it will do, every casual and his dog are gonna be double hooked. Bring it on, I'm all over it. Morally it's not right, but well, bollocks to it. Let me know your thoughts, let me know what you're thinking. You're all mint, ain't you? I'll see you soon, bosh.